I think I got the best picture from today. I want to take a few pictures around my neighborhood and do some Q&A episode as well. Tommy Nordpole, live in Norway. It's October, it's getting a little bit colder today. You can feel this frost in your nostrils. But it's not cloudy, it's not ugly, it's still a beautiful weather, sunny sky today. What is best to do today is to grab your little camera. For me, it's my trusty Fujifilm X10 and go there to this neighborhood and try to get some photographs. So I said it's gonna be a Q&A episode because over the span of my few last videos you guys have few interesting questions in the comment, and most of these questions are regarding the Fujifilm X10, the camera that I'm shooting most with. That's this like 10-year-old Fujifilm camera. Just want to quickly say that recently this channel reached 1000 subscribers. Thank you for every one of you, and I hope more interesting episodes are gonna come. So the first questions: what settings do you use for your Fujifilm X10 where you go out and shoot? I tried to answer this question so many times already, but it's always a tricky one because the answer to it is whatever it takes. Most of the days, if you're gonna ask me with what settings I'm starting, is the aperture priority. The color simulations on this camera, Astia, is my favorite. But then I like to tweak it sometimes, put a little bit more shadows, lower the highlights a little bit, keep the ISO on the 400s and have a dynamic range on the 400. So later I can play around with these images. And this brings us to our next question. Do you edit your photographs or are they straight out of the camera? When I use a certain settings of my camera, then I believe they are good straight out of the camera. But sometimes when I go home and take these pictures, I like to give a personal touch to these pictures. That's why most of the times when I want to publish some photo, I want to give it a little bit enhancement so they are as good as I remember it in my head before I publish it. Another question is, are you gonna make the review of the Fujifilm X10? I believe every episode of this little street photography adventures, it's a small review of this camera, because it's impossible not to talk about the gear you're using to create these images. But if you want a full episode that is just dedicated to all the specs, all the techniques and settings, just let me know in the comments and I can make a special review for this old, vintage, beautiful Fujifilm camera. Another question is about the film simulation, but this comes to the area of settings, what I use for my camera. But this very much depend on the day. If it's a sunny, beautiful day, I think I'm gonna shoot standard or Astia, something with the colors. But if it's a more like nostalgic, dark day and I have some different ideas about the photographs I'm gonna take today, then probably it's gonna be black and white. Some of you ask if I shoot using this tiny little viewfinder that you can find on this camera. And some days I do. This viewfinder, because this lens, it's a zoom lens, and there is small, tiny, smart system in this viewfinder that actually also have a zoom in it. But this viewfinder, probably you heard it before, it's not 100% accurate. Whenever you frame something and you believe that's gonna be your picture, looking just through the viewfinder, you're gonna get whatever you're aiming for, but also it's gonna be a little bit wider field of view. So later on, if it didn't get it too accurate, you can trim it or crop it to your liking. I found it quite useful, but I heard many people is complaining about this viewfinder. And to be honest, there is not much information inside, so you can shoot kind of blindly, or you have to believe to your settings, believe what you do to get it right, or just treat it as I do, as a little experiment. When I turn off the back screen of the camera, and I just go use this camera as I use the film camera, and I check everything at home without like sneak peek on the back of the camera. The next question, some of you ask me, what camera are you using to record these videos? And I'm quite a minimalist, you can say, about this camera. And to record these videos, I'm using the iPhone SE. I use the 4K 60 frames a second from the front camera. And to vlog, I use the back camera or the front camera. I'm not sure how you call these ones, just to see whatever I'm recording. And then I edit it, usually export it in 4K, and it's do the job. The sound is okay, it's nothing brilliant, the picture quality is alright, and I think I can get my message through this medium without bringing a huge Canon camera with me to record these vlogs. This channel, it started as a travel and a little bit cooking photography channel, because this is an area of all my hobbies that I was trying to use together to get here. I don't believe I'm gonna make more of the cooking videos, Travel videos always, because travel is one of my biggest hobbies outside of the photography and cooking. So it's always gonna be some travel in my videos. But for now, the main goal is to focus on the photography, street photography and urban photography around Oslo. Is Fujifilm, especially the Fujifilm X10, the only camera that you're gonna use so far for your photography? And the answer is no, because I use my smartphone for everyday photography when I don't carry this camera with me. I use this camera pretty much every other day, but over the years, because I photographed for so many years, I gathered a lot of different cameras. I started as a Canon user, I did some film photography, I did some videos, so I have a lot of different tools and gadgets that I gathered over the years. This is something that I'm using right now, and I believe that this really can express whatever I want to photograph. So as long as I'm gonna stick to it, as long as it's gonna perform as I want to, I don't think I'm gonna be a random guy using a random cameras, but I'm never gonna stick just to one system, just to one camera or whatever it is. Another question is, what's your story with Fujifilm? I bought this camera like 2 years ago, when all this little hype about the Fujifilm started to happen. I want to try something different, something that limits myself, something that gonna be little less than like this modern Canon cameras or something like that. And from the beginning, it was like another point and shoot camera that you can just zoom a little bit, that you can take up photos. But slowly and slowly, I discovered my photography all over again, because I limited myself to this little guy, so I had to put more skills to it or be more lucky sometimes to get the photographs that I'm actually happy in the end of the day. That was absolute game changer for me. There's quite a hype right now about the Fujifilm cameras. I'm the victim of this hype, I always say, but not a victim, I'm a winner of this hype, kind of, because I was the one who got like cheap Fujifilm camera. So I really enjoy this little camera, I enjoy the colors, I'm happy with it, but am I gonna upgrade to another camera, like something better than Fujifilm X10? It's your personal preference, like how many megapixels do you need? Do you need a zoom or you just need a fixed lens? You know, like it depends. Like there are some photographers who are doing their job just with the smartphone cameras, and there are some who are buying the best gear and they are unhappy with this $1,000 worth of camera gear, you know, like if there's a small camera that can make you happy, just go for it. One more question that I want to answer: are you doing only street photography or urban photography? It's not. I am interested with many different genres of photography, and I never try to narrow myself down just to one thing. Some days I don't feel like it's a street photography. Some days I'm interested with little bit of macro, little bit of documentary, little bit of travel and landscape photography. Maybe a jack of all trades, a master of none, but I love photography as it is. So it gives me the flexibility to explore different areas of photography. That are all questions that I managed to gather for today from all of your comments, the people who reached to me and asked me some questions, the people who reached to me in Instagram. If you want to get some information, where do I post my pictures and where you can find some of my work, you can find it in the description or maybe somewhere over here. And if you have any more questions, shoot me a message on the Instagram or give a comment down below in the comment section. This is a beautiful hobby, and the more people are participating in that, the better. Let me know what are you doing, where you are, what kind of photography do you enjoy, and if you are from Oslo, reach to me on the Instagram. I took any good photographs today? I don't know, but I hope I answered some questions. I have one bonus tip, or secret kind of, about this camera. If you want to take a little bit different photographs and the film simulations are not enough for you, in the advanced menu there's a miniature mode that you can use that have like a tilt shift abilities. It's gonna blur the top and the bottom of your photograph, and also gonna give it a very interesting colorful characteristics to the picture. It might be not for everyone, but I enjoyed it so far. And if you want, you can try it as well. For those of you new to the channel, I am Tom. I live in Oslo, in Norway, and on my day offs I like to get this little Fujifilm camera and go around and try to do some street photography or something close to street photography and urban photography. If you like it, join for the ride, maybe subscribe or not, it's up to you. In the meantime, maybe you can see the video over here or video over here and decide later. Anyway, have a fantastic day, take a lot of great photographs, and hopefully see you in the next one. Guys, I've been lying to you and to myself. I bought it, the Fujifilm